goal is to try to unwind the wheel as fast as possible because the car is going to go faster in a straight line.
Look, but he is riding that yellow line. He took the green, he went right on that yellow line. Kyle Busch in the 18 car, and he's staying on that yellow line all the way around the corner. Now look, all the way right next to it. I just think shortest distance got to make a little difference.
Fourth for Kyle Busch, 46.93. And he falls off about 7 8/100ths from the first round.
I'll tell you about it.
Have issues. That's what I heard.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I'm wondering if, again, if maybe the engine got a little bit hot.
Clint Boyer. He'll make his 12th Daytona 500. Has 397 career starts in what's now the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series with 2 poles and 8 victories.
My favorite thing he ever told me was last year on National. Said, "Man, what's the problem?" He said, "My car hates me." This year, I think he's found a car and a crew chief that like him. He's getting good results.
We saw Boyer in the green here, so he's obviously picking up a little bit.
You see a little wrinkle in his left rear tire. Car looks pretty good. Nice slow. He's holding a nice steady move. You see those hands not moving any.
Top of the chart.
Wow,
73. 73.
That's a lap, baby.
Larry, I got a question for you. Now that they've run one run and they put the tape on the grill, as everything's heated up, can they adjust tape for round 2 and maybe put too much tape or not enough tape?
They can adjust it. You can add, you can take away. We even saw them taking it all off just long enough to try to get air in there to cool it, and then they add it back. So you can add or take away between the rounds.
So it's a real guessing game for these crew chiefs on how much to add and whether you're going to overheat the engine or whether you're going to not put enough on there and get the best aerodynamic drag out of it.
But you know that tape is your best friend.
Yeah.
That is it. If you think about round 1, an 80, 46.80 was Chase Elliott, fastest car. That's a 46.73, guys.
Yeah, Clint Boyer has laid down the gauntlet. That is by far the fastest lap turn today.
And you could hear a little bit of disappointment in his voice when we spoke to him. And I think now he's going to get a little bit more excited because this is where he thought he was going to be.
Denny Hamlin in a Joe Gibbs Toyota second. 46.82 for Hamlin. He picks up 2/100ths, but falls short of Boyer.
See, everybody's in the 80s. That's what they were the first round. Here we are. Most of the cars in the 80s the second round, except that 14 car.
Chase Elliott getting ready. Matt Kenseth, 2-time Daytona 500 winner on the racetrack.
And see, another thing about the driver, and you know this, Joe. A driver, there's places on this track where you can use the banking and use the track to your advantage. And if you're a pretty savvy driver and you know when to turn that thing down, and you know when to beat down on that yellow line, and you know there's a little speed here and a little speed there, that's experience.
And I would add to that is playing with the wind. You know, if you know there's a headwind or a crosswind coming, there's a certain amount of steering wheel that you can put into it that can take advantage or try to give yourself an advantage based on how that, and use that wind to your advantage maybe behind you.
Point being, that guy's not just sitting in there holding the steering wheel.
No.
He's thinking his whole lap.
5 cars to go. Clint Boyer's Ford on top. Here comes Matt Kenseth's Toyota to the stripe. 5th, 46.87. Right neatly split between his teammates, Hamlin and Busch, who had an 82 and a 93.
So we just saw Clint Boyer pick up a little more than 1/10 of a second from his round 1 speed to his second round. Last year, I believe that Chase Elliott picked up almost 2/10 of a second. So that's going to be the difference maker right there. If they can find that kind of speed in round 2, it's going to be hard to beat that 24 car or possibly the 88.
Listen.
Yeah, it's just skipping.
I think that's perfect. I think that's what you want.
Yeah.
Just brushing the asphalt just a bit. The skirts of Martin Truex's car. He's the 2009 pole sitter for the 500. 4 drivers to go. Boyer and Hamlin, the front row right now. Furniture Row Racing, they've had inspection issues here at Daytona this weekend. That's behind them. Here's Truex trying to run for the pole. Second, 46.80. He picks up 2.5 hundredths of a second, but he is shy of Clint Boyer.
I'll tell you, I thought an 80 would win the pole because I didn't think anybody could pick up as much as Boyer did.
And then there were three. Brad Keselowski's car owner, Roger Penske, has never won the pole for the 500. He's won almost everything there is to win in motorsports. Hasn't won this pole. He's won the race with Ryan Newman. But here's Keselowski.
He really came to the green good because he was tracking well going into one.
It's coming off
Lost a
turn
little
two.
bit. Now it's coming back.
It's coming back and in the green now, and it's looking pretty good here, guys. He got off turn two with a lot of speed, better than most.
Now remember, we saw him just barely coasting onto pit road after his first run. Obviously not using the brake pedals, trying to keep all the friction out of those brake rotors.
He's coming back. Look at this time. And now he's starting to pick up a little tailwind. And that's going to push him to the start-finish line. This is a good-looking lap.
Top of the chart for Keselowski, 46.70.
Wow, there. P1 right now.
192.69 miles per hour. And right now, it's an all-Ford front row.
Well,
Two cars to go.
We got the two Hendrick cars here to see if they can do anything about it. Got Dale Jr. and Chase coming up, and they can pick up a little bit and be right there.
Look at this, already picked up quite a bit.
That's not a little bit, that's a lot. Holy smoly.
Wow.
And gaining. Boy, I tell you, he's got something in the bank right here. Look at that. Coming down the back, not losing much time into the headwind. I think the wind has died a little bit. 8,400, that's a lot of RPM. Got her nose off here, turn 4, looking to the line. Very, very impressive lap.
And this is, to me, what you call managing pressures, air, tape, friction, everything.
To the top. To the.
Okay. Time and scoring hasn't quite picked it up yet.
Didn't come up yet. I got 66, so that puts you P1.
I think he's right on.
He's
Here at the pylon, it's at the speedway. They're showing him P1.
I agree.
And electronic scoring from NASCAR has Earnhardt 46.665, 192.864 miles per hour. That's 3.5 hundredths better than Brad Keselowski.
I'd say Greg Ives' stopwatch is pretty good.
He's 66.
Very good. And then there was one.
Well, you know, Dale Jr. is going to be on the front row.
Last year's pole sitter, Chase Elliott, trying to win his second in a row, which would be the third in a row for Team 24, third in a row for crew chief Alan Gustafson. And those three poles, if he makes it, one for Jeff Gordon, two for Chase Elliott.
Can he do it?
I think he can. I think our time and score wants a bit of love drawn now. I know that. He did it.
He did it. An all Hendrick front row.
46.663 by 2/1000ths of a second. Chase Elliott is the pole sitter for the 500.
Unbelievable.
That is incredible.
Well, you know, I said that they picked up about 2/10. They've got this thing down pretty good because that's about what they picked up again here to get this pole in the front row from Hendrick Motorsports. Wow, that's a great moment for them.
Oh, yeah, and for Rick, I mean, Rick was down here early, and, you know, I don't think he had a whole lot to brag about after the clash, but he got a lot to brag about right now. Got the front row covered.
Third pole in a row for Team 24 and crew chief Alan Gustafson, tying Ernie Elliott for that record. Here's Vince.
Alan, do you know the last crew chief to win 3 poles in a row at the Daytona 500?
I do not. I didn't realize that I had 2 in a row, to be honest with you, before I heard it on the radio today. So
It's Chase's uncle, Ernie Elliott.
well, that's pretty good company. That's pretty awesome. So yeah, amazing. I didn't think we had a shot at it, to be honest with you. Yesterday we just didn't have a lot of pace and struggled for speed, but these Napa guys worked really hard. We went through a lot of stuff, a lot of data, and worked on the car, and they made it happen. So we're really proud of them.
You know the history of this sport. What's it mean to you, local guy from Florida, to be on the pole for the Daytona 500 again?
Well, this place is, you know, obviously very special. I grew up, you know, 5 miles from here, and this is the first place I ever saw racing, and can remember coming here when I was 5 years old. It's a bittersweet thing because we've got a lot of great qualifying performances and pretty abysmal race finishes. So I really want to win a race here. That would be huge. That'd be huge. It would be so much for me and this team. But I think we've got a good Napa Chevy. It's got some speed. Thanks to everybody at HMS. They worked really hard in the off season to get the speed, and we'll go see what happens.
Happy for you. Congratulations, Mike.
Here's your front row for the Daytona 500 Hendrick Chevrolet teammates, Chase Elliott and Dale Earnhardt Jr., who is on the front row for the 500 for his 4th time. Jamie?
By that performance, you never would have known. It's been 7 months since this guy has been out of a race car. How good does that feel, Junior?
It feels good. I think the guys are a little disappointed. They really want to get the pole. I'm disappointed too, but absolutely thrilled to have an all Hendrick front row. And we'll work on the balance, practice a lot this week, and see if we can't get our car, make sure it's a good handling car for the race. But this is a good way to start the week.
All right, Matt's with our pole sitter.
And as we mentioned, it's the 3rd year in a row. The 24 on the point for you, back-to-back, and you rolled up that traditional Elliott smile. This is big for you.
Yeah, this is really cool. I'm just happy for our Napa team, and great to have Napa colors on board this weekend. And big thanks to the Hendrick Engine Shop and Chevrolet. Everybody at Hendrick Motorsports has done a lot of work this off season, and you know, this team definitely has a knack for these play tracks, as they showed with Jeff, and then last year with here in Talladega. But that stuff doesn't just happen by staying the same. You know, as everybody knows, that everybody's always trying to get better and make their cars better and faster, and the engine shop's always finding new things. So I think that's just kind of a proof that they're improving with everybody else and taking that next step, which is really, really impressive. So happy to be a part of it, and hopefully we can run good next Sunday.
You weren't able to capitalize on that starting spot last year. How have you matured as a restrictor plate driver to where you can score your first 500 on Sunday?
Well, we finished our first Cup race at Daytona today, which was good. We didn't win the race, obviously, but we finished. And for me, unfortunately, we tore up a lot of stuff here last year. So I hope we can just try to get to the end of the 500 next week. Obviously, got to get through the duels first, but just making it to the end and having yourself in position. Obviously, we'd love to have a shot to win this thing. So it'd be great, and I think we have a car that can do it. So we'll find out.
Thanks, Chase. Mike?
It's the 5th time in 500 history that Hendrick Motorsports has owned both sides of the front row as Alan Gustafson congratulates his team.